And Betty Skeets now, when I came here, I was Betty Cullen, and that was in 1946 in the Land Army, and I was 17 years old.
I'm Audrey Fox, and I was born in Dorset Hospital, Dorchester Hospital then, and my father did farming. Actually, it was Wintford Eagle, that was the other side of Dorchester, of course. But I married my husband, went to school with him in Blanford Grammar School, and we married in 1957, so I've been actually living here since then. So, years fly by, don't they?
My first husband was a German prisoner of war, POW.
He worked for a nearby farmer.
Yeah, we lived on adjoining farms for the first year and a half after we were married, because we just didn't have anywhere to live.
How did people feel about you marrying a prisoner of war?
At the time, it wasn't very popular. I actually had somebody came up and said, I thought you could do better for yourself. But he was the kindest, gentlest, lovely man who had been forced to join the German army anyway, just as our boys had. And I received an email not long ago querying his whereabouts. And about 17 people emailed in, and they all spoke in the most loving words of him. I was so proud. They were conscripted just as our boys, and if they didn't go, then they were shot. Yeah. So, of course, he joined the army.
How long have you two known each other?
I think it's more years than we care to remember.
Yeah.
We knew each other when I came here as a married person, because I married here in Sturminster.
In the 50s,
yes.
Wasn't it? Yeah. And then, so on and off since then,
Ever
really.
since, yes.
Yeah. So that's a long, long time, isn't it?
Yes.
Like with the Silver Thread Club here in Sturminster, going on quite a few years. We helped to run that, didn't we, for the older people?
Can you tell me what the Silver Thread Club was then?
That involved older people. Even when we were young, we would be helping them, or I'd pop off from farm and go out and help. And
it was silver thread amongst the gold, the hair business. It was for people mostly over 50.
Yeah, taking them out for rides in the coach, go places or go on holiday, take them on holiday, Scotland, places like that. And also, we do quizzes and have people to come and talk about various subjects.
Oh, we do crafts, wouldn't we?
We crafts.
Bring things we'd made, or decorate a hat, or Easter egg, or all sorts of things, didn't we?
Christmas parties.
Yeah. Oh, smashing parties.
We used to make the food and take it, But there we are. And
we kept it running for 75 years.
Mm.
I'd only retired last year.
Yeah. And then everyone dwindled, dying off, you see, because they were so old, weren't they, mostly? And that's how it goes, isn't it? And now we're the old ones. we could still do with the club, really.
Betty, you said that you were Land Army. What memories have you got from that time?
I came from Bournemouth on the train, pulled into the station on a Monday, which was market day, and I was a townie, complete townie. I don't think I'd ever seen a cow or a horse, not close up, and got off the train. This little round, fat, red-faced man bustled up and said, "Be you Betty?" And I said, "Yes." He grabbed my suitcase, chucked it in the back of an old van. "Come on, maid." And off we went round the market to look at the calves and buy cheese. We had a beautiful big cheese place here, a whole cavern of cheese. I'd never seen cheese like it. And I thought I died and gone to heaven. And then on round the corner to a little, I was going to say a shack, but it had a corrugated roof, Cluett's, and he bought me a corned beef sandwich. Now, I came from Bournemouth, and food wasn't very, very easy to get hold of. That corned beef sandwich has stayed with me forever. I love the country, fell in love with it instantly. I'm not too sure about bulls still, although I used to take it out to water. Hens I hate, but otherwise the country to me is God's most beautiful gift. I took to farming straight away. There was nothing I wouldn't do, and I think it's made me big and strong because I'm now 91 and still going around like dingbat. I thank God every day for that.
Even though, you said you'd never even sort of seen a cow, it just clicked, did it?
Well, the first thing the boys did in the next morning when I got up, they gave me a bucket and sent me in to milk the cow, and of course it was the bull. But even I had enough to realise there was no milk coming out of that one.
How long was it before you realised that nothing was going to happen, or did you not even get that far? Were you just able to see that it was unlikely?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't really know what a cow looked like underneath, but I couldn't see anything that was pullable, so I decided to leave it alone.
Just as well.
Yes.
Audrey, can I turn to you? You're born and bred Dorset, aren't you?
Yes. And it goes back 500-600 years, the family. And so I married a farmer, look. Went to school, and then I married Tom, the farmer. At one point, my dad, we farmed at East Stour, not far away, near Shaftesbury. And I can remember, as a child, Mum fetching me from school, and my younger sister was in the pram, so I must have been about 6. And of course, the war was still going, wasn't it? And I can remember these going under the trees, and there were workmen doing the road to do with the council, I presume, now when I think about it. And there were airplanes fighting above. I can remember them saying to Mum, "Get under the trees, missus, and stay there, because otherwise the bullets even might hit you." Yeah.
I can remember doing that,
Can you
diving
do that?
in a ditch,
Yeah.
yes, because they were fighters over here.
My sister was a baby in the pram, so I was 4 years older, about 5, 6. My father-in-law helped start getting the carnival going in the 50s. Betty was one of the carnival queens.
I was carnival queen in 1955. Oh, that was a big mistake. My cousin came to stay with me from town. She brought her 2 small children, and I had my small son. So my husband stayed home, and we walked uptown to go to this dance. And I hadn't realised it was the carnival dance. And she put my name down without me knowing it. And suddenly they called up for me to go. And I was totally embarrassed because I was actually 26 and married, and they'd never had one for 26 or married. And I said, "Oh, for heaven's sake, get me out of here." And anyway, when they called my name out, I was absolutely horrified because my husband was absolutely furious. When I walked home with my sash and my bouquet.
So you did do it then? You didn't refuse? You thought, oh, well, I may as well.
Well, I did, because I thought it was quite rude not to. I mean, I joined in. One night it was a wish drive, which absolutely frightened me to death, because I think if you lost the match, they killed you outside. We had one night river sports. One night there was an old car exhibition. People brought all their old cars and things. There was one night on the river, and then there was a last dance on the Saturday after the carnival had gone through. We had a big dance afterwards. There was something every night of the week.
So how long did your reign last then, Betty? Was it just the week, or was it something that you had to commit to for the rest of the year?
Sometimes they asked you to do something during the year if they wanted somebody just to make a fool of themselves, I think, really, stand up there.
We used to keep the carnival queen's clothes in our old farmhouse up there from year to year, and the cloaks they would reuse.
I still got my
banners, red velvet cloak.
When you used to look after the carnival queen's clothes, were you ever tempted to try them on?
No, never, oddly enough. I'd rather be out on farm clothes. You know what I mean? Unless I really had to dress up. I'm not one of those that You know,
Yeah.
Betty does. She always looks lovely.
They took me all the way to Bournemouth and bought me a wedding dress, a white, beautiful
Is
white
that what they
wedding dress.
did?
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
Betty, was your Carnival Queen dress a wedding dress, are you saying?
Yes, it was a white satin wedding dress.
Yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful.
We lived in the thatched house, the
Yeah.
old thatched house to this farm, right? And my father-in-law was a master thatcher as well.
Oh, lovely.
He would get up the ladder and thatch the hayrick out beyond our house in the paddock. And David was 2 when he was there thatching one day. And David climbed up this wretched ladder while father-in-law had gone to lunch up the road a few yards at Bourton farmhouse. And he disappeared, and he was always investigating. There he was at the top of this flipping ladder.
What, at 2 years old?
At 2 years old, he climbed the ladder. I couldn't see where he was. I looked up, and there he was. And you know, oddly enough, he doesn't like heights now.
How did you get him down?
Well, I thought, what shall I do? What shall I say? So I said, well, can you show Mummy how you're going to come down? Because how did you get up there? You show me the way to come down. Because I daren't go on up and climb on up because he might have fallen off or something, you know? And slipped down what was thatched or whatever on the hayrick. It was a hayrick, you see. Father-in-law was thatching. And because he didn't have room in the barn. You know, we stored some in the barn. We didn't have all the barns around as we've got down here nowadays. And yeah, he came back down, but it's so odd. He hates heights.
Sounds like you stayed really calm. I'm trying to imagine myself in that position when my son was little. I think I'd have been like running around screaming. But it sounds like you stayed really calm, which was absolutely the best thing to do.
I think working with animals, you've got to be calm, see?
Yeah.
There's no good, you know, if you've got, say, a calf or a cow or something, or even a bull, I suppose. I didn't have much to do with the bull. I'd let the men get on with them.
I'm going to bring you up to date. Obviously, we've been in this very, very strange situation since mid-March. How's it affected you, and how have you coped with the situation?
Well, to be quite honest, not a lot, because I'm lucky and I've got the fields around and the fair-sized garden, and I'm lucky with 2 sons, and the one that's here living with me, we live together here, and Terence, my other son, he was only up the road. You know, I've been very, very lucky. I really have. And David would do most of the shopping. Now, I've been lucky, honestly, really, really lucky. I haven't been out much. Probably Betty, look, has been in
Mine has
town.
been absolutely, totally different.
And absolutely, totally different.
Well, first of all, I don't have any family. I lost my only son last year, and I have absolutely nobody left in the family. So I had absolutely nobody to worry about. But I look after my next door neighbour, who's 93. So I've had to go shopping in the local stores right from day one. I live on my own anyway. Quite honestly, it didn't make very much difference to me at the beginning, except that everybody, of course, had to keep a distance. But except for my neighbour, I didn't see anybody. And then a little later on, we did go into a neighbour's garden, kept our distance, of course, always take a mask out. Shopping was a little bit difficult, but it's not been impossible. But now we do play dominoes, 4 of us round a large table. We played mahjong. We have been out for a meal, 5 of us. But actually, it's made very little difference because I've just had to go in and out and get on with it because I had no choice. I have to say I have enjoyed the silence. There was no traffic. There was nobody screaming up and down the lane. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sorry. It was lovely. I loved the fact that I could look out and not see anybody wandering up and down or all the cars going up and down. But it's lovely to get back and see people again a little bit. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I can't imagine anywhere in England that I would want to live except here.